In this quick review, we want to talk about another type of interest called compound interest. All right, so what exactly is compound interest? And the compound interest is interest computed on the original principal, so either how much you deposit in a bank or how much you're borrowing, as well as on any accumulated interest, so kind of like interest on interest. So the formula we'll use is the following. So if you deposit P dollars at a rate of R in decimal form, so we'll give this interest rate in percentage, we'll have to convert it to decimal form, subject to compound interest paid n times per year. So a lot of times these problems will be like monthly. So n will be 12, or if it's quarterly, n will be 4, things like that. Then the amount A, so think of the A as the total amount of money in the account after T years, is given by this formula. A is equal to P times, and then in parentheses, 1 plus, we take the rate, interest rate, divided by n, and then we raise this not just to the t power, but the n times t power. All right, so A is sometimes referred to as the future value of the account, and the principal P is sometimes called the present value, so how much you're starting with. All right, let's work in an example problem here. So suppose you deposit $7,500 in a savings account. Okay, so that's how much you're given. Or excuse me, we're going to start with what you're given. You're given that you're depositing $7,500 in a savings account that has an interest rate of 6%. So we'll change that to a decimal. And the interest is compounded monthly. So going back in the formula, n is the number of compounds per year. All right, so in this case, n is going to be 12. So the question is this: how much money will you have in the account after 5 years? So t, the number of years, is 5. All right, so how much money will we have in the account? Well, that's P times 1 plus the rate divided by n raised to the n times t power. So we're going to take $7,500, multiply it by 1 plus the interest rate was 0.06 divided by 12. And then a common mistake, you got to be careful. You don't just raise this to the 5th power. You raise this to the n times c, so 12 times 5. All right, let's figure out what this is. I'm going to show you how to do this all in one quick step in your calculator. And you have to be very diligent, all right, and when you do this in your calculator, right? Because one little typo or one little input incorrectly will cause the result to be incorrect. So let's take $7,500 times, let's start a set of parentheses, 1 plus 0.06 divided by 12. I'm going to have to close that parentheses, and I'm going to raise this to the 12 times 5 power. Now, some of your calculators, what will happen is you'll see when you hit the raise button, it'll show this like little arrow there, this little caret sign. You'll have to put 12 times 5 in parentheses. Or you could just do that ahead of time and realize 12 times 5 is 60. All right, but how much you'll have after 5 years in the account? Nice. You'll have $10,116, and I'll round it here, 38 cents. Okay. So the next thing it says, well, how much were you paid in interest after the 5 years? Well, if I just want to figure out how much interest I have, you're going to take the future amount that you have and subtract the principal, how much you initially deposited. So I'm going to take $10,116.38, and I'm going to subtract away $7,500. So let's see how much we made in interest. So here I can literally just go minus 7,500. Not bad. So by just leaving the money alone for 5 years, I got an extra $2,616.38 just in interest. All right, class. I hope this quick review on the use of the formula helped. Just pay attention to n, the number of times it's compounded. And then when you raise to the power, don't forget it's raised to the n times t power.